So good evening, everybody. This is Samajit Roy from Imoha Elder Care, and I have with you today an absolutely amazing moment where we have somebody who needs absolutely no introduction whatsoever. All of you know her very well as somebody who most of us have grown up with. At least I remember when I was a little kid watching a lot of her movies, and I know that it's not just myself, whether it is my own parents, whether it is my uncles, whether it is my grandparents, I think everybody is a big fan of her, the one and only Sharmila ji. Sharmila ji, thank you so much for coming on Imoha's Elder Hour. It is 7:25. We are just 1 minute into the show. So it is my responsibility to tell you what is the 7:25 p.m. all about. So we thought, that with all this lockdown, COVID, everything that is going on, there has to be something which we bring a little bit more smile and a little bit more, affection and interest amongst elders in the country today. And what better way than spend 1 hour every day with something related to elders, right from 15th of June till the World Senior Citizens Day on the 21st of August. And the underlying philosophy, ma'am, is that दिन में 5 मिनट निकल के 10 मिनट निकाल के if you can make that one call to your parents, it lights up their day. So that's what the elder hour is all about, that you find that little time in the day, speak to your parents, speak to your elders, because it lights up their life, and as their light becomes better, our lives become better. So, this is a very special day, my dear elders and everybody who's joined on the show. We have not just, one of India's most pioneering actresses and artists, but also somebody who has come to be defining, what it is to be an active elder, even till date, being so active and so vibrant in everything that she does. I have had the extreme privilege to get to know her during my time when I was working with Tara at Antara Senior Living, and she gave us a lot of wisdom and a lot of insights on what it is to build a community for elders. And Antara, as you know, is a community that was in Dehradun, and Sharmila ji continues to be a board member there. And there is so much that I learned from her during that time that we spent in Antara, and we stayed in touch. And today it's such a privilege to have Sharmila ji on the show. I know because it's a formality, I would definitely do a little bit of an introduction, Sharmila ji. I will not take too much time, but for everybody who I think is probably impossible not to know you, I will still do a little introduction. Sharmila ji, as most of you know, is a very acclaimed actress in Hindi and Bengali cinema. She is the recipient of 2 National Film Awards, a Filmfare Award, and the Filmfare Lifetime Achievement Award for her contributions to Hindi cinema. And in 2013, she got the Padma Bhushan, which is India's highest civilian honor for her contribution to the Indian culture through performing arts. And she was obviously born in the Tagore family, and made her acting debut in the age of 14, many years back. I can't even imagine what I was when I was 14 years old, ma'am. But in the age of 14, you came into this very famous Oppu Shansha, The World of Oppu, with Satyajit Ray, an acclaimed Bengali movie. Besides acting, Sharmila ji has been in many different roles, from the Central Board of Film Certification, being the UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador, and many other roles. And I think it's such a huge thing for all of us to have her on the show and spend time on something which is very special. This show is not about this show is not about what it is to be a celebrity and so on, because I think that part of something is Sharmila ji has had several interviews in her life, but this is really about a mother and daughter. There is somebody who all of you know who is Sharmila ji's youngest daughter, Soha, and she would be joining us later in the show. So really, we will try and use this time to celebrate the the love and affection and the bond that is there between a daughter and a mother. So uh, you know in many of our elders who have been part of the show, um, there is this thing about we do Bollywood acts, we do songs and celebrations, and we do a lot of clubs which are to do with beautiful functions and festivals. And I think today, most of you, all the elders in the show, would agree with me that having Sharmila ji in the show has really made the whole experience live, and has made the whole has probably brought you back to what it was to live in the 60s and the 70s, and watch Sharmila ji in so many award-winning movies of that particular time. So Sharmila ji, without any more time that I can take in the show, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for making today's evening so much more special, and for celebrating what it is to celebrate the bond between parents and children. How are you feeling, Sharmila ji? I think you're on mute.
Is it okay now? Because what's happened is I'm sort of
yes,
logically challenged, because suddenly this thing started ringing. So obviously, I was just trying to switch off. Thank you so much for inviting me today to your show. And I'm so proud of you that you have done so much in really a very short time. And what you're doing, of course, is incalculable. I mean, it's so relevant and so. And I know that it's been your passion, as you shared, that we interacted when you were with Antara, and still am. And it's been your passion. So I'm so glad you're doing something that you've always believed in doing, and you're doing it so well. So well done, and I'm so glad to meet. I can't see them, but it's a bit disconcerting, when you are talking to somebody and you can't see your audience. We as performers are, get a little charged up when we can see who we are talking to.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So right now, thank you. Sharmila ji, we have close to about 200 people on the show right now. They are able to see you. And as we progress in the show, we will get them to ask questions. And if there is any thoughts, we will get the questions and we'll post it to yourself. But thank you so much for what you just mentioned. It means a lot to me. And I know that, the times that we had, in terms of thinking through what can happen for seniors in the country, not just as somebody who was working, but you've been playing a very important role in helping elders think through how seniors and what it is to be, life post 60s. So if I could just start, Sharmila ji, with a little bit of a background about, I know that most of us have some spouse in our life who's a significant spouse and the reason behind our success. And there is no prizes for guessing the fantastic spouse in your life who has been very, very famous, the very famous Tiger Pataudi. But besides also the spouse, there's always some elder who has really been responsible for making you who you are. Could you share with us who that elder or those elders are in your life who made a difference, and anything you can recall from early times?
Ramyujit, I grew up in a joint family. Of course, because my father was being posted from place to place, and my education became a problem. For the first 5 years, I was with them while he was posted in Jamshedpur at that time. So I was there and I was being homeschooled. But after that, it became difficult. So I was sent to my grandparents. And I'm so happy they did that, because it was a joint family. There was my grandmother, my grandfather, there were 2 uncles, there were 3 aunts, and, house full of cousins, etc. So if you say the main influence in my life at that time was my unmarried aunt, Korobi Thakur, Korobi Tagore. Okay. And she, when I look back, I mean, at that time, maybe I didn't realize, but when I look back and seriously think about influences in my life, I would certainly say that she was the one who introduced me to the world of arts, if you please. School was happening. I mean, that was happening naturally. And the other things that I was learning just living in that joint family atmosphere, which is tolerance and sharing. Because we didn't have
Right.
a designated room to ourselves. We slept somewhere and we were picked up and we put somebody's bed, or we didn't have any cupboard or something, or not even toys as such. We used to improvise our own toys. So that kind
Wow.
of upbringing and um, togetherness I mean, it's really enriched me. But it was my Pishya, as I called her. I had
I
names
see.
for everybody. My mother was Mimi, my father was Bapi, my actually paternal grandfather was Khoka, which means a little
Right.
boy. And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
my grandmother was Dadu, and so different names. So Pishya,
Correct.
who I used to share my room with her, and she took me to begin with, to a place called Dokhini, which
Hmm.
taught music and dancing and that sort of thing. So there were a lot of stage performance, a lot of dressing up and putting lipstick and all that. And then
Wow.
came CLT, Children's Little Theatre, which was uh, Shamur Chatterjee. And in fact,
Right.
daughter then married my youngest uncle. So
Wow.
Shamur Chatterjee sort of pioneered this thing. So they were all, I was 6 years old, but we performed on theatre. It was called Obon Potua. And then there was other things. In one, I was a tightrope walker, and another,
At 6 years old?
I was a moon.
Was it at 6?
It was pretend, as Inaya would say, it's pretend tightrope walk. It was not real tightrope walking. But I had,
Wow.
a lovely dress, and I had an umbrella in my hand, and I was tottering along. And it was at a height. I don't know how they did it, but it looked quite real because he was very good.
Right.
And his stagecraft was very good. Then we toured. We went to Mumbai, we went to Delhi, we performed 2 shows. In fact, when I came back, I was suffering from depression. I said, oh my God. So he is the one who kind of nurtured. She, of course, introduced me to violin, which
Wow.
I failed miserably. That didn't work out. But so everything, like all our festivals were, everything was, nothing was outsourced. All the mithais were
Hmm.
made at home, all the anars and stuff were made at home. My uncle, he was the not the younger one, the other one, my father being the eldest. He was,
Right.
and then the kite flying festival, with the manja and everything was made at home, and what fun the children had. So he was always keeping us. And then there was, being such a big family, somebody was getting married, somebody was having a child, and everything had some ritual that went with it. Alpunas and
Hmm.
particular kind of mithai to go with a particular kind of festival. So we only wore, uh, we had to wear yellow saris because of Saraswati Puja, that the year started with that
Correct.
in January. And we were
Correct.
not supposed to have
Correct.
beer before that, cool as we call it, because apparently,
Yes, yes, yes. You can
uh,
only have it after the puja is over. So you have to wait till the puja is over before you can have it.
same with Lakshmi Puja, same with as we Kali Puja, as we call it, or Durga Puja. So everything had their, getting up at Mahalayas when Virendra Babu's
Early morning.
wonderful baritone, much better than Amitabh Bachchan, 4 o'clock in the morning on a cold day, just listening to him. So these were the memories and these were the influences we had. So a
Correct.
nuclear
Correct.
family is a nuclear family, but a joint family, and, for the children. And that's what, you can call it patriarchy. But patriarchy
Hmm.
looked after the children and looked after the holders, the elders, as you call them. But, they
Correct.
were looked after. But when everybody started working and it sort of disintegrated to nuclear family, mothers went out to work, and who looks after the child? Then you hire somebody, but that person is also leaving a child at home. So, so that
Correct.
these are the challenges that we are facing now.
And ma'am, from
Long
that
answer
time,
to a short question.
so no, no, but it is very important. I think I don't know how many people were there at home. Can you recall how many people were there when you were growing up together in the home? Lunch table,
There were
how
about
many people were having lunch together?
5 children, and my grandfather, about uh, about 10, 12 people. Yes.
10, 12 people.
There was quite,
Yeah.
and visitors,
So,
people who visited wouldn't leave for, I mean, they won't come for a day, they would come for 10 days, and with children. And I don't know, somehow the head of the family at that time was my grandfather, and my grandmother
right.
was more hands-on, because grandfather was more quiet and more in his room. He played the piano, he ate with kata chamat churi, and he had
Oh,
this,
wow.
the hookah. And so he was, and he used to wear the jubba. He was the last person to wear a jubba. And then he used to
Wow.
go for shopping,
Wow.
because as a Bengali gentleman, he would do the morning
Right.
bazaar. And then my grandmother cooked with all her bahus, somebody chopping, somebody doing whatever. And all the aesthetics that went into cooking food, like a certain vegetable, the aloo had to be sliced or chopped or skin on. So, there was so much beauty and aesthetics in everything. So that's what I really like.
Correct.
So there
Correct.
were lots of people, and for us children, we had a ball. And then everybody had authority on us. If I sort of complained to my grandmother that so and so has been, hit me for nothing, I had done nothing. So she would lagao another thappad. She said, you must have done something. Everybody, it's like we belong to anybody. And yet we had so much fun.
And I think as you grow up in that ecosystem, you become more tolerant. You mentioned about being tolerant. Today, our society and our community has become very, very, in some ways it's become narrow. And therefore the ability to accept somebody else, whether they come from a different, religion or different caste or different thinking or different philosophy, probably comes so much more naturally because of the early days and the upbringing from your own elders, isn't that?
Yeah, I think sharing, especially more than tolerance, sharing comes very easily, because if you say change your room and sleep in that room, I will take whatever my bedside things are there. And, I have my Sai Baba, I have my ghadi, I have my glass of water, a few things like that. And of course. So, and I'm quite happy. I'll just take my stuff and I can sleep. I can sleep on the floor, I can sleep anywhere. So yes, I can.
Wow.
Sharing is not a problem. Tolerance, of course. I mean,
Wow.
if somebody has a very loud voice, then you have to be a little, bordering on intolerant. But yes, it is because you have to deal with so many different kind of temperaments and so many different points of views. In that house, somebody was a Congress
Correct.
worker, somebody was a communist supporter, somebody was East Bagan, somebody was so East Bengal and Mohan Bagan and all those things. And tumul jhagda, there was fierce debates, Bengalis.
Correct.
So yeah, so different points of views we were exposed to
And
very
and
early.
and is the concept of debate, I think, in terms of adda, the view, the ability to hold, different kind of points of view, obviously comes from that kind of ecosystem that when one, kind of grows with.
Like my grandmother had
And ma'am,
when I married Tiger, my grandmother did, except that she hated it because Tiger didn't like fish, and he came home to dinner, and she had cooked, and she was an excellent cook. She made all kinds of things, and Tiger sort of, since I hate fish, I could eat fish, so that was a bit of a dampener. But other than that, I think they got along famously. And because she could only speak Bengali, right? And of course, my grandfather
right,
used to write all our letters, whenever
right.
we were ill at school and all those. But she spoke Bengali, and she spoke to Tiger or all my friends, in non-Bengali friends, in Bengali, and she was
Correct.
perfectly understood,
Correct.
and she understood them. There was no problem.
Wow.
They all adored her. She was a
Right.
happy person.
Very nice. So, ma'am, tell us a little bit more about So obviously the early part of your career, there's a lot of stories about and how he supported you in the early part when you went into acting and movies and so on. Tell us a little bit more about that time, because we all, when we become professionals, we look up to our parents. We look up to our parents, and somewhere in the back of our mind, there's somebody who
Because
helped
that
us cross
time,
that.
Shomajit, that time, people were not allowed to, well, girls from good families didn't work in films. We were not allowed to watch films, you know. Um, like theater was all right, but even then the children didn't go. So it was only books really, but we didn't go. And there was obviously no television. There was radio. So every Friday there used to be a drama on the radio, and the radio was the sitting room where my
The
grandfather
center.
and had his hookah. So I was glued to that. I would sit next to him and, cry and laugh as we do now watching films. So that was our entertainment. So, yeah, sorry, I just lost track. You were asking me, yes. So when the offer came from Satyajit Ray, um, naturally there was a little bit of worry because you don't. But by that time, Satyajit Ray had made Pathir
Big
Panchali
name.
and also another couple of films. I think Jalsha Ghar was already made, Parush Pathar was made, etc. So he had made a reputation for himself, and he was already very, very um, what shall I say, that he was not just an ordinary filmmaker. He was winning international awards. So it was like more respectable to work with him, you know. So that is why my father agreed. And he said, yes, I mean, I've seen your film and I'll be very happy if you take her, but not as a, I mean, we don't want her to act professionally, so don't pay her, but she'll most certainly work. But then my principal of my school objected and said you'll be a very bad influence on other children because you're working in films. So she asked me to leave. She gave me I mean, either you work in the film or you stay in the school. So my father said, of course, she'll work in the film. And so I had to leave diocesan and went to Loreto and transit from Bengali medium school to an English medium school. But obviously it was worth it. I mean, Opu Shrangsha just changed my life, and even today when I see it, it is so lovely. Especially, I think I'm very good in it.
Right. No, this is so nice, and I think the beauty about having your mom and dad support you at the time when you ventured to do something new in your life. In today, even when I was growing up, I am 44 now. When I was growing up, there were certain things which were like not out of bounds, but uncharted territories. Like I can safely say that a career in elder care is an uncharted territory. Nobody gets into an elder care as a subject specialty. People become engineers or doctors or whatsoever. So so today also a lot of people, as we become parents and we look at our own children, it is exactly this kind of a support that really makes a difference within our lives.
Sure.
But before I go forward, I know that there is somebody who's extremely special who's waiting on the call. So if I can take the opportunity to bring in a really, really special person on the show. Soha, thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
It's hello. So nice to meet you.
Hi.
So nice to meet you. And this is really about mothers and daughters, and both of you have really, really brought the show together. I think there is millions of stars which are now lit all over the place with such a beauty, in terms of the mother and daughter coming together. I've had the real pleasure of coming to your beautiful house in Pataudi and seeing so many things there, and books and books and books that are there. And I know, Soha, you're also a book lover. So so nice to have you.
Thank you.
I know everybody in the show knows you, but just for that little one person who, probably does not know yourself, just to kind of introduce to that little one person. Baki sabko pata hai, everybody knows who Soha is. But for all our elders and for everybody who's watching the show, Soha, as you know, is a very acclaimed actress and has worked in, Hindi, Bengali, English films. She started her career with a romantic comedy film, and a film which has touched all of our lives, Dil Mange More. I think most of us have seen it. And something that I feel very, very proud about, and a film which I'm a big fan, is Rang De Basanti, which I know that you were also nominated for the Filmfare Award for the Best Supporting Actress. For those of you who don't know, so I studied modern history at Balliol College in Oxford, and also got a master's degree in international relationships from London School of Economics and Political Science. You also worked in Citibank, I believe, and in Ford Foundation before you joined acting. And this is very, very interesting. We were just touching about the thought about how Sharmila ji started getting into acting. And I believe that she always wanted you to become a lawyer, and you wanted to get into acting. So tell us a little bit about this beautiful dynamism that I'm sure would have happened when you started to, kind of wanted to come back into acting.
I think it's not that I wanted to become an actor from an early age. I think, it's a sort of generational thing. Perhaps my mother's generation was perhaps more single career oriented. And I think certainly our generation and the generation that's going to follow us is one where you don't really commit to following one career trajectory per se. And you are more open to trying different things, following your heart, as people say, being more impulsive. And there are options and avenues that are now available to people. Certainly, I can see that for the current generation. So for me also, as you said, I was a banker. I worked with an NGO for some time. And then when I moved to Mumbai, I was approached, of course, being from a film family, by certain producers who wanted me to work. They'd approached me in the past as well, and I'd been reluctant then. But I was more amenable at that stage to try and to see what it would be like to, because I enjoyed acting. I'd done a lot of theatre as a student in school, and more at school than at university. And I thought, why not try it? And I did enjoy my first experience, which was actually not Dil Mange More. It was a small Bengali film, and called Iti Srikanto. And I really enjoyed that.
Oh, wow.
Perhaps even more than my first Hindi film. And I thought that this is something that I would like to do more of. And really, then it just went from film to film. And, here we are.
So nice. And so did you have your early childhood memories of the kind of dynamism that Sharmila ji went through in her own joint family setup with, with multiple uncles, the house is always full of people with, many elders, all of whom are parallelly giving you advice on what to do and so on?
I remember.
Do you also have a similar kind of childhood?
From my early memories, of course, I was born in Mumbai, and we lived in a house where it was just my brother, my sister, myself. My mother was working and my father was there. But when I was very young, and before my first memories were formed, we moved to Delhi. And I certainly remember a big house with lots of family members at all times. My mother was not working as much as she had been with perhaps my brother and my sister. So she was around a lot more.
Correct.
And a very hands-on parent. My father, of course, was quite a permanent fixture at home also at that stage. So I had them both very much around me, but there were also lots of grandparents, cousins. People would come and stay at that house in Kamraj Marg often and use that as a base for lengthy periods of time. So, I grew up, I was the youngest cousin from my father's side of the family, one of the older ones from my mother's side of the family. But there were always lots of people with different ways of, spending time with you, different approaches to bringing you up. And it was a lot of fun. And it was, I remember, being bored was a word that we didn't use easily. And, really, we had to think about it before we used it. It was sort of a bad word to use because there was so much that you could do to occupy yourself. And this is without television.
And right. And so I started the discussion with Sharmila ji mentioned how in her life, the elder who was there in her life, who really influenced her. What about yourself? I know there's so many things that, that ma'am would have influenced in your own life, but has there been somebody else in your life who really, kind of influenced your own growing up?
I would say for me, predominantly it was my parents, my mother and my father, of course. But I do have memories of my maternal my father's mother, my paternal grandmother, because we lived with her in her house also in
Right.
Delhi growing up, and she was someone that we would spend time with, for example, during meal times, where she was a very proper eater. She would have her dal, her salan, using her roti without getting her hands dirty at all, without getting her fingers dirty. And as young children, we would watch and learn or try to learn. She was
Correct.
particular about certain things, growing up, and taught us also a lot about our heritage, our culture, etc. So we got to,
Correct.
again, I think in our family, it was more by watching that we learned, as
Yeah.
opposed to someone sitting down telling you. So I do have memories of Badi Amma, which is what we called her. And then, of course, Lal Didi, my mother's mother, and my grandfather. Lal Didi, I was very close to. She was, very youthful, even in her advanced years. Lots of fun, always made you laugh. Even when we were shooting for Rang De Basanti, and she was a big Amir Khan fan. She came specific when we were promoting the film in Calcutta. She came to meet him, and just charmed the room. So she was always very well turned out, very particular about what she was wearing, color coordinated. Must have got up very early to be so properly dressed, and so unlike us, in this generation today, who live in our pajamas and all of that,
Right.
and just some, who was always colorful and full of life, and obviously saw hardship and loss in her life as well, but was full of this sort of wonderful spirit. So I had all of these people in my life, but I think in terms of predominant influences, I would still say that there were my mother and my.
And what is it that I think we are mirrors of our parents. I am very close to my own mom and dad, and my in-laws now are also very, very close to them. And I think as we grow, we start mirroring our parents. We start unknowingly, knowingly, we start mirroring some of the characteristics of our parents. And it's not just the facial resemblance. Both of you definitely have a facial resemblance, but it's also it's also there are certain characteristic traits which become similar. So what as per you is something.
I can hear my mother. I mean, and sometimes it's worrying. The same intonation, sometimes the same lack of patience, the same requirement of a certain standard, which my mother has always had very high standards, whether it's professionally, whether it's domestic, whether it's looking after a home, whether it's, hosting a party, whether it's working on, and we've done a lot of ads together. We've done a film together. And she has particular standards that she would like met. I've been a lot more relaxed in terms of my approach to things, but I feel as perhaps as I'm more advanced in my years, that I also feel that I need to be looked after. I need certain standards to be met. And I hear, again, when I'm parenting my child, my mother's voice coming out of me. And it's interesting. Let's just say it's interesting.
Sharmila ji, what do you have to say for this? This is the most interesting part, and I was reading about from the whole family, from Latika to Ira to Sharmila ji to Soha yourself to now. By the way, what is this about having the last letter being A? Is there some family tradition of having Ira, Latika, Sharmila, Soha, Inaya, everybody with A? Is there some codification that was designed, or is it something just happened? Sharmila ji?
A is the alpha, that is the first letter, right? So I think it's nice to have that in end with the beginning, so to speak.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So Sharmila ji, how do you see this happening? And having worked with with yourself, Sharmilaji. I know your detail orientation. I have seen that myself. I have seen how choti cheezein, small things, how you would be very particular,
But I learned
whether it's a
from
board
Soha.
meeting, whether it's a visit, and so on.
But I learned a lot from Soha. I mean, before I used to, if I had to go for even 2 days, I always carried a suitcase. Now I just have a stroller and I just hate carrying luggage. And I learned that from her because it's so easy
Yeah,
just to
light.
travel light, and it can be done. So, and got being used to it. Now I just hate waiting for it. That's one thing I've learned. Then another thing I've learned, because she's in her thinking, she's so much like her father. Because I get emotional, I get a little passionate, I get, as she said, impatient. But I learned that with that attitude, if I give her a problem with a very impassioned voice, this is what's happening to me. And then she very calmly mirrors that, says it back to me. And somehow it's so much simpler. I can understand it. So, she has that ability like Tiger did. And also, she's a very good teacher. Like, I'm very technologically challenged. And a lot of people try to teach me, but I can't learn. But when Soha teaches me, I can learn very quickly because A, she has the patience, and B, she uses the words or the technique in a way that suits me, and I completely understand it. So I've really learned a lot from her, and the way she can detach herself sometimes, where I just feel that winning a point is so important at this stage, but she can wait for another time or ignore it altogether. And then later one realizes it really doesn't matter at all. You've forgotten what the point was actually. So there are a lot of things because emotionally we are different people. I'm far more, Saif and I are more alike that way. Whereas Soha is very different. But yet, this is what I'm saying, that together, I feel we complement each other. Because if I have a problem,
So
the
beautiful.
first person I would ring up is Soha. Because
Wow.
I think...
And how has this beautiful relationship evolved? So has it always been like this? As in your mom, when she was, 13, 14 years old, she just told us stories about acting when she was 6 years old. So, like there's this concept of light years, everything has to be looked at. If it is Sharmilaji's life, that means 1 year is equivalent to another person's like 4-5 years. So, so given that at 13 she was doing so many things, when you were younger, was the relationship between both of you this complementing relationship right from the beginning, or is it more recent?
A lot of your personality is shaped by what child you are: first child, second child, third child. My mother was the eldest in the family. She was working from a very young age.
That's true.
She had younger siblings. She managed a home. And she'd done that from such a young age. I was very typically the youngest child in the family. I did not have to be responsible. Even today, I have one dependent, which is my child, who, is increasingly independent every day. So, I've never really felt that I have had to look after anybody. And in fact, Amma, even now being an elder, is not easy to look after and does not certainly give the impression at all that she needs looking after, even though, of course, she does. And we all do, irrespective of how old we are. We all need emotional attention. We need love. We need care.
Correct.
Physically, we need certain things, of course, around us as well to make us comfortable and safe. And certainly the past couple of years has highlighted that. But, I think for me, from a very young age, and even now, I feel I'm still, even now that I'm in my 40s, still understanding what it means to be responsible. I still have a very relaxed, as I say, approach to many things.
Yes.
And
you're still the youngest daughter. You're still in the youngest daughter who can take
a little. Will be.
Yeah.
I think I always will be, and I always, I am certainly very dependent on her being around, for advice, for even, today or yesterday, I would call her if I'm not feeling well, I'll call her, to say I'm not feeling well. And I, in terms of practical advice, in terms, of course, for emotional support, the little bit of love, the things that you look for in a mother, are things that I depend on hugely and always have from a young age to now. So in terms of that transition or a reversal where, the child starts looking after the elder or the parent, I don't think in our case that's happened as yet. But I feel that Amma certainly over the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years maybe is showing a little bit more vulnerability, which I think is a good thing. I think that for a child and for someone who is not used to being needed by a parent who is so, independent and so has always looked after themselves, I think that it's not nice, but sometimes you need to be told when you're needed and what you're needed for and how you can help. So sometimes, especially again,
you've picked up on something which is so important that I can't undermine. And Shamila ji, this is something that we keep talking about. That let me talk about myself, for example. I have, been a busy professional. Shamila ji, your light has gone dark. So we had this concept of, I think next time I'm going to be there at your place, I'm going to get some emergency lights and stuff done so that there should not be any moment of darkness in the home. Shamila ji, are you okay? I think maybe the line got disconnected. That's fine. These are moments exactly that we look at where if there is anything that goes wrong, we can press the panic button and we'll have a responder to your place in 20 minutes. That's what we do at Emoha Soha. We have obviously many elders across the country now. But you picked up a very interesting point about how all of us, for example, have this little thing that we've been busy professionals, we've traveled across the world, we've busy careers and everything. And then you feel a little guilty that you've not been able to, do justice and take care of parents to the maximum that you would want to do. And there's this little thing about parents also don't want, they're like, hum theek hai, we are okay. You mind your own life, you do your own stuff. If we need it, we'll, come. But this is really the point, that there is a need for children to understand that elders do need professional help and support. At the same time, for elders also, it's important to recognize and accept that that there is a need for support. So, what do you think about this, Soha?
I mean, I think one thing when it comes to family, when it comes to anybody looking for help or emotional support or something that they physically need, it's a subject that is very touchy. People get very emotional about it. A lot of people feel that we're very busy with our lives. People's focus is their immediate families. People are looking after themselves very much so. What makes me happy.
I think Sharmila ji is calling. I'll just take the call as well. Yes, Sharmila ji. Can you? Achha, there's a power cut. Okay. No worries, ma'am. Whenever it comes back, come on the line. Are you fine? Are you absolutely okay? Okay, fine. We'll be there on the call. Okay. The most important thing is
she's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. So, and so we are in Delhi. So I've always said this, that, whether it's, all our moms are celebrities in all ways, whether it's my mom, your mom, or anybody's mom and dad. And the whole thing is about how do you make elders first in our life? How do you bring, as parents, I have a 10-year-old daughter, 15-year-old son. As we become parents, we realize how important, it is to be taking care of parents. So how do you see, Soha, as somebody who's also a young parent now, seeing how do you transition, how do you bring this importance for, children, sons and daughters to, come up with this notion that your parents need care? And how do you tell parents that this is fine, it's okay to have,
you're back.
a support system? Yeah, she's back.
The electricity went off, but it's now on generator, but it'll happen again once more.
Okay.
I'm going to come to your house and put an emergency lighting system
do.
there, Shamla.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I was just telling Soha that it's so important that, and as somebody who's myself gone through a busy acting, working life, traveling and so on, there's always this thing that if my mom and dad need something, if my in-laws need something, and, there's times when I have not been able to do, my wife has been able to, kind of take care. It leaves you with a feeling of guilt that, I wish I could have done something. And I know Soha, you stay in Bombay, Shamla ji stays in Delhi. You travel all the time, ma'am keeps traveling, you keep traveling, so potentially we are all vulnerable to, and the kind of things that happens in our cities with COVID and all these things, you never know what is happening when. So why is it that we don't accept that there is a need for care? Why is it that we think nahi, nahi, hame nahi chahiye? I mean, a lot of people who come to Imo, they say hame nahi kuch chahiye, elders don't need any care. 60 साल तक कोई emergency नहीं हुई तो अभी भी नहीं होगा, nothing will happen, we'll be fine, we don't need anything. How do you change that? How do you change that philosophy?
I think it comes from, one doesn't want to, because I've seen it with my mother-in-law also. When she needed a nurse and we wanted her to have a nurse, she was vehemently denying that. Against that. So I think it is the idea of being dependent it goes against one's grain. But and then women, of course, still are better. Men are much worse. Men, because women can really accept a little bit, because, and especially women who've not worked and things, and they have been dependent on their son. So it is not that bad. But men, like I remember, I used to be very argumentative. I am a very argumentative person. And I used to argue a lot with my father. And then I suddenly realized that he's not arguing back. So I realized that something has happened and I should not speak to him anymore like this. So you realize, you're in touch with each other. And Soha is wrong. I mean, if I need something, I always ask. And right now, my main thing is this digital whatever. Everything is happening. Press this, press that. Netflix also, So all our entertainment or our conversations and our interactions are all digitally dependent. So I'm literate. I am somewhat, but not totally. So I still need help. But we can work this out, it is always, but also the children must realize, because sometimes they feel that it is convenient for them because they're in a rush. They want you to, okay, I'll give you again my example, because my parents came to live, stay in Patodi for a while. And, it was impossible. There were about 15 people, 20 people. Somebody was getting up at 11 o'clock and asking for breakfast. Somebody had breakfast at 6 o'clock, so they were asking for lunch. So I just went crazy. So I said, okay, there'll be a fixed breakfast. One day you'll have scrambled eggs, one day you'll have this, one day you'll have that. You can't say, I want this kind of an egg. And it'll be done, from 9 to 10, you'll have breakfast or whatever time it is. My father was so upset. He told the entire Calcutta that in Rinku's house, I couldn't get my egg the way I wanted it. But, so that was a good example I gave you. But sometimes the children rush you to make it more convenient for them. I can understand that they have young children, they have to go to work. So I think it's a two-way traffic. Even the elder needs to understand that have a realistic expectation. You can't have, asymmetry of expectation, because that leads to alienation and depression and that sort of thing. So I think that shift from expectation to empowerment is very important, because we would like the children to empower us, not take away, not scold us, or not say that,
So
you're not
important.
doing this properly, you need to rush it, like that. So to empower us in a way, so that shift, I think, is to be understood by the younger people also. And
So beautiful.
also for elders to create the resources inside, because at 60, it's very difficult to learn. But from 30s or from Soha's age, if she learns that, yes, at one point we are going to be this way. So, I mean, already she has like reading, create interests so that you can be
New
alone.
hobbies,
Yes.
new hobbies, new
Need
things
to,
that you can do.
you don't need to be lonely because you're alone. There
Absolutely.
are so many things you can do,
Absolutely.
and think,
Absolutely.
all that. I mean, provided, of course, a certain basic health factor, you're okay.
Correct.
So I think this need-based thing is wrong. It has to be based on love and care, and actually respecting each other's independence. And if I say that I want something, I mean, don't just because I don't know how to. It's very difficult. You understand, because you have
Yeah.
to.
So
Or
it's
if you
it's
have a
to
problem, like I asked Soha something and Soha can't do it, then she should be able to say, Amma, I can't do it because of this reason today, and I will perfectly understand. But if she's in a hurry and just
Dismiss
rush
it.
off, then I will feel hurt,
Mm,
I was just
mm.
seeing Aparajita today, Satyajit Rai's, and how the mother was waiting for this child to come.
Correct.
And during the holidays, he's spending time with his, and she's ill, she's almost dying. But she's not writing a letter saying that I'm not well, please come and see. So
Correct.
finally, a friend writes to him and he comes instantly. But if
Correct.
she could have also written, but she wanted
Correct.
to, she was sulking and she was saying, that pride in herself. She said, "Jab uska dil karega wo aayega,"
Correct.
So when it came, it was too late. And he
Correct.
also felt. So we should act in a way that helps each other, because when you
Correct.
are at Soha's age, you're responsible for your young, you're responsible for your old people, you're responsible for your career. It's a lot of demand, really. So I think we need to understand that and meet sort of, so we should, like us, should go for more positive aging as opposed to negative aging,
Very
like
nice.
not
Beautifully
completely
said.
out of that. I mean, if I ask something, don't make it sound like a complaint. My husband used to say that when you begin a sentence with a complaint, I don't want to hear. But if you say this is the issue, I'll solve it. I can solve it. You encourage me to solve it. But like Amma had two friends, Badi Amma, her Badi Amma, my Amma, Tiger's mother. So Saida Appa and Auntie Mary. It was a pleasure to go and meet Auntie Mary. She would say, "Come, beta, betho, ye karo, wo karo, whatever." If I went to Saida Appa, she would say, "Acha, abhi, you just got the time now to come and see me. Last 3 months, where were you?" And then in 1 minute, I'm regretting. I said, "Why am I come here? Why? So I'm just saying that how you. So, and my mother, for instance, had so many younger friends. On her 85th birthday, the last birthday, my phone was ringing, my sister's phone was ringing, her own phone was ringing, the house phone was ringing, because she had, and so many people,
So many
and I
people.
think
So
very
many
good thing to
people.
have done. And also, it is not just sacrificing for your children and children. Your friends can be your family. They may not be your
Absolutely.
biological
Absolutely.
family, but they are there, and
Absolutely.
people can come together and provide you with what you need. Because I've seen that with my mother. They would take her out because I'm not a great one for going out. She wanted to, like, she was always dressed up and always. She said, in case of a fire, there is a kind of an earthquake or something, have matching slippers, matching shoes, matching handbags.
She
She had
wanted the matching slippers during earthquake.
first thing in the morning. Even when she had her
Yeah.
heart problem, she was in the hospital. The first thing, of course, she said, "Bring me my dentures," which I could understand, and I took it. Then she said, "Bring me my lipstick and bring me my." I said, "Who are you walking in this? I see you." But She was like that. So she loved
But
to.
that's important. I think
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
positive vibe is equally important to, to look at
Can't,
it.
so I think it's that, and we, like I said, we were growing up in joint families, so I saw a little bit of that. Then we are going more towards nuclear family. Spaces are shrinking. Then we will go to a kind of a community living, perhaps, because things are evolving, and a lot of people's children now are settled abroad, and they just can't be with you even if they want to, and especially in COVID times, you're not allowed to travel. So what do you do? So I think, and they want their parents to be safe. So I think this kind of Antara, that kind of a senior, I wouldn't say old age home, has now shifted to retirement home. And a lot of young people are planning to be in that kind of space when they come of that age, because uh,
Correct.
they know that it will come, and they're already preparing
Correct.
for that, because it has become like a
Correct.
culture and demand. It's no longer a stigma. It's no longer my
Correct.
failure or my children are abandoned me, that's why I'm in an old age home. Now it's no longer, that it's no longer that. It's not an old age home. A senior living is not a bad word. It's a, and
And if you can
yes,
have all of that in your own home, you can stay, and have all the
that
amenities and
that
everything.
so
Continue to.
so from all these, so as time changes, we have to adapt. You have to adapt to that kind
Correct.
of, like you're saying, that get your uh, whatever, so that this kind of the digital thing won't stop. So okay, get that, or whatever is needed. And of course you can live alone, yes, fine, but if there is a security issue and that you cannot live alone, then go to a community living home. Is a
And ma'am, do you, for example, as somebody who's been also very active post 60s
yeah.
as well, um, would you recommend that as elders, as they look at advancing age, which is an absolutely normal thing, would the need that, yes, I need some support, I need some help, I need some, support system. Um, why would elders hesitate? Is there a reason why elders should hesitate? Should
Like I
elders come
said,
out
it is
and seek professional
difficult to
help and
let
support?
go of the idea that I'm not able to manage. So you need to accept that,
Correct.
accept and
Correct.
adapt. The moment, like, see, I'm losing my hair, fine. The moment you accept, there is no issue. The moment you resist it, oh, I've got wrinkles, if you start thinking about it, then it's a problem. It's not going to go away. You're just making yourself, you're resisting it. So stop resisting, just
Yeah.
accept the situation, see the situation as is, and then it's fine. Then people will come to your rescue and people will help you. You know, if you
So
don't
sweet.
say, but on the other
So,
hand, you don't want them to help you and always be around you. So that it has to be a little bit of intelligent helping also. Uh, I mean, don't
nice.
take away
And
person's
so how,
dignity. Is basically in one
yeah,
word.
yeah, the dignity of the individual.
Dignify the age, don't sometimes ask for their advice or include them in conversation. Don't feel as if you know more than them, or which you can do now, but later when the other person is losing confidence, then you have
Mhm.
to kind of, even if it's pretend, as
It doesn't
Aya would say,
matter. Yeah, it's
sort of
absolutely, yeah,
ask,
it's
what do
fine.
you think is, do you know if I have an ache in my knee, what can I use? Or whatever way that will make her feel a little bit more wanted, you know?
Absolutely.
So it is just
Correct.
actually, if
And
you love each other and if you care for each other, these things come automatically to you. But the distance,
I think so.
sorry,
Sorry, please go ahead, Simran.
as
You
I
were
said, the
finishing.
distance
You mentioning about the
very,
distance.
very difficult sometimes, because this COVID time, my worry was that if I die, and I mean, if I die, when I die, I will die. But if I if I can't see my children, like if they're not there, at least I would like to see them. And I mean, that thought was, I still haven't come to.
I
haven't been able to
remember, I remember last year, Soha, somewhere around when the first surge was happening, I had a chat with Shamlaji, and she had mentioned about some things, and we had run a campaign, where more than 3,400 elders in the city were being taken care by 2,500 volunteers in the city. So Delhi, in the city of Delhi, we had volunteers, sons and daughters who were taking care of elders. And, and we had somebody send something, I don't even remember, but something to Shamlaji's house as well. But Shamlaji, you mentioned a lot of very, very, very powerful points. You mentioned about empowering. In Emoha, we call this our base. Something that we have as membership is called as Empower membership, because it's all about how do we empower an elder's life? How do you make? We don't have to judge. We don't. I cannot be telling my mom, who being a school principal, my dad has been a CEO for manufacturing. I cannot tell them how to lead their life. But if, as young sons and daughters, if we can just give them a little bit of a support infrastructure so that they can lead their lives without having to worry about small things and discover new things. You also mentioned about community living. It's a fantastic point, because today, like, we are on the Zoom line, there are so many people who are watching us right now. Both of you will be amazed to hear that every day for the last 15 months, people have been having almost, like 3 hours in a day, they've been spending time together, which means that there is no loneliness, which means all these elders have become friends. Somebody from Kanpur, somebody from Delhi, somebody from Bombay, somebody from, different parts. Sometimes they've lost a spouse, but they are all together. The third day after they've lost a spouse, they've come here because emotional happiness is here. They're all together in one location. I want to change gears a little bit before we close, and ask a few questions which are a little hatke from our little serious discussion that we've been having for the last half an hour, 45 minutes. So this is a question to Soha. What is your most fondest memory with mom? You call Amma. What is your most favorite memory with your mom?
No, I don't. Firstly, I'm not prepared for this question at all. But I mean, I've missed her so much over the past couple of years that really, I just miss, how she feels and how she smells. Like, it's not like something in particular, that I'm thinking about. I'm not thinking about a moment. Like, I think about the hugs. I think about, the time that we spent together, whether it's in Delhi, whether it's, in Bombay, whatever. But really, for me, like, what I think about is just some physical time together where we can actually touch each other and, be able to be together. That's what
the bond with your mom. The bond with your mom. And if you were to look at, this last 15 months that has been very, very difficult with COVID and everything, what is that one thing that you think personally you learned or you picked up during these COVID times?
I think I learned a lot actually from my daughter as well, because I thought that she would be restless and that she would need this, that, and the other to be happy at home with very few things and very little exposure. And I tried to do so many things with her, but often I would just watch her ability to adapt, to such a change. She was going to school, she was doing play dates, she was going to birthday parties, she was traveling to Australia and Ranthambore, and then suddenly she was at home for 3 months doing nothing. And she was absolutely fine. She found something in the smallest things, she found happiness. And then I started taking her out as well. And she would still say, I would ask her, what are your favorite things to do? And she would say, I want to be in my jhula listening to music. And that gave her genuine, contentment. And I said, it's all right. We have to adapt, and we have an ability to adapt. We really do as people. We're very inventive and we're very resourceful. And, we've survived this pandemic. And hopefully the worst of it is behind us. But I think it's just to be able to find that motivation and that peace within, really. And I think that's something that I learned from her.
So sweet. Shamlaji, one deep desire that is unfulfilled. I know, you are one person who, and having read about you, having met you, there's so many things that, I think it doesn't feel like one life. Sometimes I feel, the early part, the Satyajit Ray, that part of life, to the the Hindi film time, the Bengali. These are anyway parallel worlds. There's so much that is there from that to the time that Tiger Patodi was there and the cricketing times.
I was doing Evening in Paris
one-
and Nayak same year. If you can just imagine that. Paris and Nayak, I'm sure lots of
Did you mix the dialogues? Did you mix the dialogues? Sometimes say the dialogues from there to here, and it would create a lot of commotion.
play both the, sort of films side by side, then you'll know yeah. So yes, it's parallel words.
But-
really.
But one unfulfilled desire, ma'am, which we will all try and fulfill. If it is something that we will all conspire, all Imoha elders and all of us will try and conspire and say, Sharmila ji ka ye dream pura karna
I
hai.
think it's
What
finishing
is
your
that
home.
She shouldn't what?
Finishing your home. Your
Yes, of course. Oh my God. But I mean, but like I've
You've touched a very sensitive topic, Soha.
it will happen when it happens. So that's not my unfulfilled desire. I don't know. I try, if I want something, I try and achieve it. And if I feel it's beyond my reach, or it's like your expectation, like your dreams and who you are must match. Like I can't have impossible dreams, So obviously a dream that I can achieve. And if I can't, like right now, the environment is such, we are all keeping ourselves very positive. I'm doing a lot of reading, which I've seen all my films. I don't know if you know, because I don't see my films usually, because like Shashi and I used to say that काम भी करना है, देखना भी जरूरी है क्या? I mean, we don't see our I've seen the good, bad, and ugly, and now I can critique my films. If somebody says, "Oh, that film is bad," I said, "No, that is good. This one is bad." So I found so this pause. I'm thinking of writing maybe my biography. I don't know. So there are a lot of thoughts that are coming. So unfulfilled. I mean, I haven't seen I haven't seen Steph's boy, the little boy yet. Jay. I haven't seen.
That's
I've not
true.
seen him yet. So that is something I'd like to do.
True.
And I most certainly would like to go to Bombay and, meet Soha and Inaya. Soha came to Delhi.
To Delhi.
She stayed in Patodi actually when she was shooting this film with some film that she was doing. And Inaya came. So at least I've seen them, but I haven't met Sabah and I haven't met Saif or Karina and Taimur. So we do this FaceTime, which is, and the children get very bored with that FaceTime. She'll say something and then she's go. And we were just becoming quite pally with Inaya. Remember when she was singing Chanda Hai Tu?
yes, yeah.
Quite mesmerized with me on television and couldn't figure out, these two are the same. So it couldn't wrap her head around that. Perhaps she hasn't. But moment she became, and actually we were doing quite well. The moment I said that Soha is my daughter, I'm her mother, and we have she got so possessive from then on. I was her rival, So then I had to kind of change my tactics and become a little, So
you can say you're the friend rather than the mother.
So that was a big mistake. So that's what I'm saying. You learn. But
sweet.
I mean, I would love to see them. And for me, losing 2 years is a big chunk of my life, And
Absolutely.
and they're all growing up so quickly. So that's one regret. But hopefully by December, my doctor is not allowing me to fly for some reason. He thinks my life is very important and has to be protected.
That is true.
He's not letting me go anywhere. But I'm listening to it because I feel that it's okay. Like 4 months, God willing, it's okay. I can do that. But in December, if nothing changes, then I shall
Rebel.
rebel. Yeah.
So I was absolutely straight shot. It's a rebel. December there'll be a special flight that is going to take Sharmila ji right from Delhi to Bombay. So sweet. I know we've come to the end of the time. So anything that you would like to share, or anything like you would like to share to all, the sons and daughters? I call it the sandwich generation. Having kids and having parents, and having the need to think a little bit more about how concepts like this, which is towards taking that little 10 minutes out for your parents in the day. I know everybody is busy, but the light still again went again. Yeah, I think Delhi power cuts is a problem. I think, ma'am, you need to shift to Gurgaon. Maybe I'll get her to shift to Gurgaon. So what is your anything you would like to share with our viewers and elders on the call?
Actually, I was always someone who, of course, I mean, I love my mother, and I genuinely enjoy spending time with her, and always have. And I would always make sure that not too much time lapsed before I went to see her in the past. And I remember the genuine conflict happened when I became a mother myself. And that's when I was physically torn, because there were times when I couldn't travel with my daughter, but I wanted to spend time with my mother. If my mother was unwell, and I could remember a time when she was unwell and I couldn't be there. And that was when my guilt was at its peak, because I couldn't leave Inaya at that point, and I couldn't be with her. Of course, during a pandemic like COVID is when you can't travel, and when you have young ones, then you feel that. And also it's that irony whereby you feel like if you go to them, then you're endangering them during a pandemic like COVID. So actually look after them, you have to be away from them, which is bizarre. So, these are things that you struggle with often. But I think as someone who's become a mother 3 years ago, and I suddenly understand how important I am in my child's life, sometimes you forget, as you're a mother, all the things that your mother did for you. And it's very important to remember, and it's so easy to remember because you can see how much your child needs you and how much you need them. You just have to remember that
it's a cycle.
The
whole cycle is repeating in a way.
Exactly. And just because your mother's a little bit older and has other things to do, it doesn't mean that, there's not that vacuum in her life that only you can fill. And it's, again, the idea is not to do it as a burden, not something to do as you tick off your list that you must. And to, ideally, when there's love, as Amma said, it comes naturally. But in spite of that, sometimes we do have to carve out time in the day and time out of our lives to do the things that matter before it's too late.
Absolutely.
So it's very important, because it's something that, you will only regret later.
Yeah. And I think, ma'am mentioned it, that if there is love and if there is moh, in the center of Emoha, there's a word, it's called moh, and it's a mohabbat for elders. If you turn around the word Soha Emoha, it's a home. And we say it's a home because an elder always wants to be at home. At the end of the day, if any problem happens, anything happens, you want to go back to your own home. You don't want to stay somewhere
elder
else.
Or younger, I certainly want to be at home.
Anybody. And it is this moh that really connects everything together. It's what, finally stays. And then if the moh is there, we will figure out, what we can do. So on that note, I will have to definitely check what is wrong with Sharmila ji's power cut connection there. But
the power comes back, then it goes. So they must have been on the generator, and now the power's come back. So
yeah, I'm sure. But thank you so much, Soha. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing your views.
One thing that you're doing, I just want to say that it's so necessary, but I know that that's not why you do it. I mean, you've been doing this for a long time. But I just thought it was a lovely idea to have an elder hour and to have all the things that you're doing in terms of also just online entertainment and things that bring people together, and really to eliminate that sense of isolation, which is so important.
Correct. Because if the sense of purpose is there, we've seen that everything falls into place once people start to get a new connect in life. And we have a lot of people who have suddenly discovered that I never knew my father has become a shairi, like a poet. They've discovered that their parents have become a photographer. Somebody has picked up a new hobby. Somebody has become a, book writer, a painter. And we always have these notions that my parents can be only this.
Yes.
And suddenly in the community, we are rediscovering our parents. We are rediscovering as a virtual community that parents could do much more than what it is.
Yes.
Ma'am, welcome back. I think the power cuts are clearly becoming a problem.
No,
but
now the power has come back and the generator is off. Yeah. Hopefully it won't happen.
No problems. Shyamaji, thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for all the wonderful points. I think, each and every point about having dignity and respect for parents, giving space to your, sons and daughters, having this mutual, the perfection of mother and son. Soha mentioned about learning from Inaya, which is so true that it is, it's coming from both sides. And most importantly about this whole thing about how from the joint family that you came in to now kind of staying in a community living where your friends are becoming your own community. And that's exactly what we are trying to do, that it's okay, some of our elders say that we have only 1.5 friends. I'm like, what is 1.5 friends? How can somebody be a half friend? So there's an elder of ours who is 90 years old and she's like, एक करके सब चले गए, अब हमारा एक 1.5 है, क्योंकि the husband and wife was the friend and now the husband has gone away, wife is left, so it's like 1.5. I'm like, this is a new definition. But now she says we have many friends because it's all one large community that has got created. So on that note, thank you so much, Shamila ji. Thank you so much, Soha. I hope to stay in touch and bless both of you and Inaya and everybody in the family. Take care and stay well.
Thank you, Shobhajit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Soha. Thank you, Shamila ji. All the best. Bye.